Welcome everyone to the November 7th Board of Selectmen's meeting. Would you all please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Next up on the agenda, we have acknowledgements. This is where we show respect for the passing of the previous month, and celebrate the birthdays of this month. Whereas it wasn't done last month, I got 2 months worth to do because we didn't have the list the first meeting of last month, and I had the list the second meeting of last month, but I wasn't here. So anyways, I'm going to start with. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike. Also, we have Andy Rawson, Selectman Rawson, is on the phone. He's home injured today. So if you want to say hi, Andy, say it.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me on the phone tonight.
So, and if you have any questions, just speak up and you get an answer. All right. So this month, last month in October, we had the passings of Pauline Aiken, Francis Orlando, Anthony Sebastian, Mary Girth, June Furbush, Maxine Brownell, and Susan Wilson. We all just bow our heads and show respect for these individuals and their families. Thank you. The birthdays, the other side of it, this again for last month. We had Nick Marique, Fire Department, Noreen Nason, Police Department, Sam Morrill, Fire Department, Roger Moulton, Highway Department, George Stevens, Police Department, and Dawson Libby, Fire Department. I'd like to thank these individuals for the service to Milton, for the service to townspeople of Milton, and wish them all a happy birthday. Now for this month. In the passings, we have 3. We have Peter Cutter, Joanne Burnham, and Mark Hagstrom. If we could all just bow our heads in a moment of silence, show respect for these individuals and their family, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. And for the birthdays, we have Alexander Wood. They didn't put what department they're in, but it's okay. Oh, they did over here. Yeah, they were on the side. Alexander Wood, Fire Department. Joanna Howland, Library. Keith Noseworthy, Fire Department. Joshua Tackley, Fire Department. And Sean Donnell, Highway Department. Again, I'd like to wish these individuals a happy birthday and thank them for the service of the town of Milton and for the townspeople of Milton. So, up next, you still with us, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Up next, we have approval of the minutes. And we have, on the agenda, we have a slight typo. It should say October 17th, not the 3rd, and October 19th. So,
Have you read them, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, John, I assume you've read them.
X, I did.
Okay.
Actually, it's October 17th and October 21st.
Correct. So both dates are wrong.
Correct. All right. Go ahead if you want to start, Mike.
Sure. So before we get started, what I'd like to do, Tom, on the Friday, October 21st special meeting minutes.
Yep.
On page 3, just under the cash receipt policy, 2 sentences down, there are 3 sentences. They need to be stricken from the special meeting.
3 sentences or 3 paragraphs?
3 paragraphs, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, paragraphs, and return them to.
Oh, you might want to statewide just for the people.
I'm sorry, because these should have been put on the non-public minutes and not on the special meeting minutes. So that being said,
So,
Yep.
which ones are they?
on page 3,
Yep,
There you go.
I got them right here.
yep,
Okay.
you see where they are?
This is not this one, this three.
1, 2, 3, there was.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll take those off.
All right, so, got a motion to approve, or?
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the Friday, October 21st, 2016 special meeting minutes with the non-public stricken from this record.
Do we have a
I'll
second?
second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
And the non-public minutes for, and that's where the non-public minutes from the October 21st should be on the October 17th non-public minutes. And I've read them, I assume you two fellows
Yep.
have read them?
yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to
October
accept.
21st, yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, Heather's just looking for it.
Oh, okay. I can give it to you right after I'm done.
Oh, here they are. Okay.
So I'll make that motion to approve them as written.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You wrote on me.
I wrote on you. Sorry.
Second?
I owe you.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
He's having his own meeting.
We seem to have a bit of an echo here.
What did I have in mind?
I don't know. Go ahead. You're next. Go on, Mike.
That would, there's only 2 sets of minutes to,
Approve the 17th.
and the 21st.
Right.
That's it.
Actually, I need to. Look at this one.
What's that one?
The 21st. Oh, we did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did that, yeah.
Yeah.
So why do I have all these signature stickies?
I don't know. Did you want to do the
You were-
17th?
you
You and
and
Andy can do it. I
Sticky,
just have to
Kevin.
abstain.
Well, there was
The-
non-public and public.
There's
Yeah.
non-public and public. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, you gave me the wrong one. This is the 17th.
Here.
I need the 21st.
You need 21st? Here's 21st. I'm
Okay.
sticky heaven here, so I don't know.
Go on, Mike.
Again, I assume that you've read the public meetings for October 17th, Andy?
Yes, yep.
Okay. Any changes? Are you good with
No,
them?
I'm
Okay.
good.
So I'll make a motion to accept the Friday, October 17th, 2016 public meeting minutes as written.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, I'm sorry. I'm abstaining.
You'll
Getting
get
confused here myself now.
okay. So, I assume you've read the non-public as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I'll make a motion to accept the non-public meeting minutes for October 17th, 2016 as written.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And abstain. There you go.
Will you settle signs at the meeting?
Can?
Yeah.
I mean, you got a little time right now. We can't start at quarter after.
It's 1:15 now.
Quarter after.
No.
Well,
I have something to sign.
Okay. I can't see that clock much clearer. All right.
Okay, get me back those.
What's that?
I need those back after this.
Yeah, after you sign it.
Yeah, we'll sign it.
Okay, time being 6:15, we are going to hold a public hearing. This is pursuant to RSA 4114A. This is the Town of Milton will hold a public hearing today to determine if the town will accept the transfer of the property comprising of Milton Mills Cemetery. The property will be transferred at no cost to the town. Milton Mills Cemetery is located at 536 and 541 Appleby Road, Milton, New Hampshire, map map 9, lots 111 and 117. Public hearing will occur here at this time. And this is the first of 2. And with that being said, I'm going to open it up to the public. Do you want to say anything, John?
Only that if anybody's got some questions that can direct in my direction, I'd be glad to answer them.
Mr. Brown?
Larry Brown, former cemetery trustee chair and member, going back to when Steve Jeffries was there. This is a wonderful conclusion for the work that has been put in over the last 10 years to bring order to the list of cemeteries that we have, to bring an overall understanding of what the responsibilities of the town are for a public cemetery, and the work that has been done following that by John as chair to bring Milton a solid, useful, long-term public cemetery. And it's time.
Great. It is one of the legal requirements of the town to have a public cemetery burial spot. We've been fortunate enough in the past to acquire that by leasing the cemetery from the Milton Mills Cemetery Association for $1. But this time it becomes part of Milton. So. Any other comments? Such a lively group. Not hearing any, I'm going to close the public hearing. And we will hold another public hearing at the next Board of Selectmen's meeting for the second half. We are required by law to hold 2 public hearings.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. I'm going to move up one thing, because I know there's people here that have been up early, people that want to get home, and there's people that look like they're about ready to fall asleep. And I'm moving up the complaint for the library, for the library, right, sorry about that. For the budget committee. Yep, I got it. Just trying to find out where to put it. That's it. All right, we have a formal complaint for the budget committee, and is it all right if I mention your name?
Yes, it is.
Okay. This is from Mr. Fred Cameron, and I'm going to read the complaint. And basically, we're just going to talk to the complaint, and that's all we're going to talk about with the budget committee is for tonight. And it's at the public broadcast meeting on October 18, 2016 of the budget committee. The budget committee went into an executive session using names of members of the softball field renovation committee and shed a negative light on this project. This is not the job of the budget committee. Furthermore, there is no public notification on the agenda or otherwise notified the public about their topic. I am disappointed that this committee has acted in such an unprofessional manner. There should be some kind of formal reprimand to the budget committee for shedding a negative light on another town committee. Being as it is against the town policy, consider this a formal complaint. Basically, I mean, I just want to say this. There's a committee, and I can't speak to the complaint because I wasn't there, but I just say, there is a committee that's actually working their tails off for the ball field and stuff, and I think we all need to work together. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
That the quorum of the budget committee is here. My recommendation earlier in conversation with the town administrator was, since we are here as quorum and since we have a noticed meeting, and that is to bring the budget committee into the session. My intention is to join the selectmen at table for a concurrent meeting, or to ask the selectmen to recess for the presentation of the budget committee chair. This is when you're speaking of the work of a town committee, when you're speaking of the reputation of an individual, I think it is important to have a clear and direct and defensible record of actions. What is your pleasure?
I don't know, it's up to the board. I mean, all I was going to address tonight is this one complaint. That's all, I mean,
That is exactly my intent.
okay. If the budget committee wants to gather around the table, feel free.
That I don't think there's enough room. My intention, if the budget committee itself has no objection, one, it being 6/20/22, I see a quorum present of Tom McDougall running the control panel, Bob Carrier to my left, Dennis Wing to my second left, Stan Nato directly behind him, and Weird Maureen in the rear, Bob Carrier and Larry Brown. That having been said, our town rep, Mike Bolio. I had a phone call from Caitlin. Patrick is 4 years old today, so his name should be added to your list.
Yep.
Oddly enough, she chose his birthday over us.
I would have done the same.
Lou, who is the school board rep, was unable to be there. So we are in session. My recommendation is that it is easier to talk to people not in the room by facing them, and we have 2 empty chairs.
I'm happy to give up a chair.
You have another one right
Well,
there, if somebody wants to
No,
squeeze.
this one is fine. And that, so, what I'm going to do is begin again by reading and referring to Mr. Cameron's complaint. And I have in front of me his letter. I have the R91A3 non-public session. I have the draft of our minutes from the 18th, and I also have the agenda for the meeting of the 18th. I'm going to start with the agenda. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 topics. And it starts with call to order, old business, Board of Selectmen rep, school district rep, new business, which is budget committee request for information, financial details, motions or other actions, discussions and consensus noted. Next topic, housekeeping, pace of the year's work. The preparation of the minutes, the record, budget workshops, correspondence, requests of or by the members of the committee. Then at the end, we always have a summary, and I go down the road, left to right, asking each person on the committee what they want. If there's something to bring up, information they have, things that are not clear. At that time, Dennis brought up the topic of New Hampshire statute, which says that for over $5,000, gifts to the town require a hearing and acceptance. That is the absolute topic of our meeting. Gifts over $5,000 go to the town for their approval before they are accepted. There is nothing in these minutes, and they are posted out there, that says anything about any person in anything resembling a derogatory manner. I was personally at the meeting of the school budget the next Thursday, the 27th. Barbara Hughes asked the school district what they were doing about that. Barbara Hughes asked if there should be a special conduit for donations to the school. And I said to them that the town and the school are already qualified institutions to accept any gift, any contribution, any goodwill. And I have, for the the resolution of this, very simple thing. One, under 91A, we do not go into non-public session. We do not have an employee to discipline. We do not have a person to hire. And no person in this community, whether Mr. Cameron or any other person, had any reason to have their personal reputation adversely affected by what we discussed. Okay, this is a simple plan. So, for the record of this meeting, and for the minutes of our own meeting, and for the goodwill and good reputation of all who have worked on and contributed to the projects of this town, its community spirit, its community pride, for a poured concrete slab, for windows, for stone dust, for an irrigation system, for wood chips, for 1 2x4, a box of Munchkins, or the 2 extra calendars that I bought that I don't need. The chair will entertain the following motion to be the work agenda of this budget committee meeting. It goes as follows. The budget committee, like the Board of Selectmen, has and does support and thank those volunteers and contributors, known and anonymous, who have contributed to the success of the softball field project, and regrets that the present record does not make that clear to Mr. Cameron or any person with a similar concern, and that this motion be added to the minutes of 10/18/16 when approved. Is that motion clear? Is there any doubt that the budget committee, every member on it, and I'm going to ask for unanimous vote, does not agree
Mr.
and
Brown, can I just
support?
interrupt you for a second? I don't want to interrupt what you're talking about. I was just here to note that, and I don't, that the $5,000 has been increased to $10,000. And that's, I just handed this note.
Oh, in that case, duly noted, 5 paragraphs before from Larry Brown. And what I would like, if that motion is clear, Mike, would you make it?
Is it the policy of the budget committee to discuss donations at a budget committee meeting? The policy for taking
Excuse
donations?
me, the question was, is there a motion, is there a second?
I will make that motion.
The motion, is there a second? Second, Dennis Wing. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do you agree? Do you either abstain or vote no?
Abstain.
Abstain. We have 7 members here. We have 6 in favor and 1 abstention. The motion passes. The question is raised from the selectman's rep, whether it is the policy of the.
All right, well, the only thing we're speaking to tonight
Is
is this one complaint. I mean,
That-
yeah, I understand that, but I already told him.
Excuse me, the budget.
No, excuse me. I already said he can address that tomorrow at the budget meeting when you have a budget meeting.
Do you wish to speak as a selectman and raise your question?
I'm gonna bring it to the budget committee tomorrow night.
Fine. The,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, it's not tomorrow night.
Oh,
Oh, the next budget committee.
whenever it is.
The next one.
That was my fault, saying tomorrow night.
that, I will, of my own authority as chair for the information of people out there, bring the following information forward, which is the duties and responsibilities of the budget
Okay.
committee, section 3216,
We're
which
getting
says,
we're getting off track here.
this is
We're
the
getting off
purpose of the
track. We're
budget
getting
committee.
off
If you wish
track.
to continue to speak, to interrupt me or gavel me to quiet, you may, to do estimated costs, revenues anticipated,
Brown,
and
we're
services
we're getting off
performed,
track. We
all
talked about-
under this
Point of order,
RSA
Mr. Chairman.
32.
Yep, we,
Is there a motion to adjourn the Budget Committee?
Not yet. I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I have a statement prior to adjournment.
That the motion to adjourn fails lacking a second. Stan Nato.
Stan Nato, I do want it in the record that this is, the fact that I've been on the budget committee for many years, I can't count how many, this is the first time there has been a complaint filed to anyone.
no doubt.
That this isn't proper protocol to this board of selectmen be even holding this meeting. The complaint should have came to the budget committee directly. The board of selectmen has no authority over the elected officials.
No, we
of the
don't.
budget
That's why we asked you in.
So we came here out of respect for the position of the Board of Selectmen, and not have to watch all the political ads tonight. But I think we need to put it in the minutes that I myself personally will not address another, if ever, this way. I want it to be done by proper protocol, and if you ever receive, and hopefully you never will, another complaint, that you advise the person that's making the complaint that proper protocol is to bring it directly to the Budget Committee.
Duly noted.
More importantly, last thing, I have never met Fred Cameron personally. I think you are in the left, to my left rear, yes, sir?
Ask Jim
Yeah, I'm
about
here.
That,
that. Ask Jim about
I
Yeah,
think
well.
we talked at the spaghetti dinner,
Yes, we did.
and what did I say?
You were in favor of everything's going on.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I still am. I thank you all for your patience
Motion to adjourn.
and time. Motion to adjourn, is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, anybody listening, for your own time and help.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, up next. Eric, you still on the Economic Development Committee?
As far as I know. I haven't
No, that's
seen
good.
it.
I'm good. I was going to say something.
I was actually going to make a comment to that effect. I had no idea we were on the agenda. I received no communication.
Oh,
I haven't received any communications at all, actually, in a couple months.
we received a request.
You don't want one.
Huh?
He took offense.
Who did?
He wasn't yet.
Oh, I know. Actually, we received a request to be put on, to have you put on the agenda from Justin Avery?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the chair.
Okay. And that's why it's on the agenda. I mean, one thing I tried to establish is these agenda request forms so we can have an idea what's going on. And if you want, I'll read the letter. You haven't seen the letter either, probably? Oh, okay. It says, Chairman Tom Ray, Board of Selectmen, Town of Milton, request for approval to apply for 2 additional economic revitalization zones. Dear Chairman Gray and fellow board members, at the recent meeting of the Milton Economic Development Committee, the committee members determined that in order to further promote our community as an ideal destination to conduct business, it would be in the best interest of the town to increase the number of economic revitalization zones within Milton. The State of New Hampshire Economic Revitalization Zone program allows business with designated zones to apply for tax credits that can be applied to offset New Hampshire business profits tax and or the New Hampshire business enterprise tax, provided the business made an investment in new plant or equipment and hired additional full-time employees within the calendar year that they apply. Currently, Milton has one area in the downtown corridor designed as ERZ zone. Our committee feels it would be justified to apply for ERZ zone designation for 2 additional areas of Milton. Those 2 areas are the entire industrial park complex on Industrial Way and the vacant land that abuts exit 17 off New Hampshire Route 16. Our committee is willing to gather all necessary materials and complete the ERZ zone application for these 2 areas. Then it goes on to say, we ask the Milton Board of Selectmen to consider approving our request and move forward with this project. And it says, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to address them. That's what we got. So you weren't part of the meetings. Interesting. And there's no one else here from the Economic Development Committee?
Other
You?
than me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good request. That's what I got too. I wasn't at that meeting. So I have to.
Well, I think, what are your thoughts, Eric? I mean, I'm just hearing it, basically.
So not having been involved in the meeting and not knowing if there was a quorum involved in actually creating that recommendation, I can't comment.
Okay, no, good point. So,
Something that the Economic Development Committee's been working on all along with Bob sending a letter out. And we, additionally, we want to send letters out to the businesses, but this is a way of increasing the revitalization program for businesses.
right, but Eric's got a good point when he said, was there a quorum at the meeting to address this
Wasn't
particular?
there,
Yeah, so I think we need to table this, we can find out more particulars.
Yes.
Who sends out the meeting invitations?
Well,
Is that Dana?
Yes, that's where it should go. I advised Mr. Avery that in order to put his agenda together, he needs to go through Dana.
Is that the one
Yeah.
I asked Dana to handle?
Okay,
Okay, I'll follow
we're gonna
up.
table this so we can get more information, and find out. I mean, 'cause you're right, we have no idea there's a quorum, if it's just one person, so,
Yeah, without knowing the parcels involved or
right.
everything, I can't personally comment, and because I wasn't in the meeting, so I can't comment as part of the board.
All right, appreciate that. So we're gonna table this till the next,
Whose number is this?
well, the name is Justin Avery.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's his number.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna table that till the next meeting, see if we can get a hold of Justin Avery and see if we can find out minutes of the meeting to find out if there was a quorum, if it was acted upon. And go from there.
Can I get your number?
Or it's
Yes.
not on public record.
Right, yeah, you'll give it to me.
Wait, I know what it is.
Yeah, you want it?
Raffle it off for the ball field.
Yeah. Up next, we have the application and then withdrawal for committee for the candidate for Forest Committee. We really do not need to take any action on this. We had a candidate who wanted to initially volunteer for the Forest Committee. That was Cynthia Wyatt. Then she has since rescinded her offer.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I believe Selectman Rawson has some statement on this.
You do?
Yes, thanks, Mike. I don't know if you want me to bring up the selectmen's comments, or do you want me to?
Go right ahead. It's good time is now.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to either have a motion or give a motion, either way. We have a problem, and first and foremost, I want to thank all the committee members, board members, that give all their hard work and all the time that these people give the town of Milton to serve on these committees. I wanted to say thank you. It takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment, and a lot of times, it goes unnoticed with everybody's hard work they do in town, and I just want to say thank you. So with my proposal for the Milton Forest Committee is, unfortunately, we just cannot keep any volunteers on this committee. We have one volunteer. Mr. Lancey is still on the committee, but that is it. We can't find anybody else. It's been up on the website for weeks and weeks, and unfortunately, we just can't get anybody to sit on the Milton Forest Committee to at least have a quorum. So I am asking the board to let's, in my opinion, we should dissolve the committee. And if Mr. Lancey, wants to, I don't want to go backwards on everything that the Milton Forest Committee has done. I want to use all the information that they've brought, so far forward to the Board of Selectmen. I'm not saying, let's go backwards. We can continue using, the information that they've brought to us, but it needs a lot more work. And it's not fair to the townspeople that have, we put this on a warrant article and it passed last year, and we need to move forward with this project. And it's just not fair to townspeople. So I'm asking the board to dissolve this committee.
Can you put that in the form of a motion, Andy?
I'm sorry?
Put that in the form of a motion.
Do you want me to put it in a motion?
Yep. If that's,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to dissolve the Milton Forest Committee, and I have some more information to pass on, but that's my motion.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And moving forward, because this is only fair to the taxpayers, because they did put this on a warrant article and it passed. The conservation committee is going to have put together a subcommittee off of the conservation committee. This project still needs some work, but they're willing to move forward with it. And there's a lot of good people on the conservation that can really help us with this and get this thing into an easement. So I will come back to the Board of Selectmen as soon as the committee is together and so we can get our blessing so they can move forward.
A subcommittee for the Conservation Commission, you're saying?
Yes, they're gonna, we're gonna get a subcommittee off of them, and I don't want to leave Craig Lancy out. If he wants to come join, in the meetings, if he has some information, that's fine, but moving forward, that's how this project is gonna, get done. And I think, I want to thank Cynthia Wyatt for coming forward, and there's some other committee members on the conservation that are going to step up to the plate and get this land into an easement. And they're going to bring their all the information back to us. What they find.
I think it makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
I think so too. I mean,
The conservation and the forest committee would work closer together than the forest committee and the board of selectmen would.
well, I mean, there is no forest committee now. It's going to be a subcommittee of the Conservation Committee.
Right, well, I meant,
And
yeah.
where it was already, like Andy was saying, voted to be put into conservation.
Right, yeah.
So it's
Easements,
just,
yeah.
it just
Makes
makes
perfect
perfect
sense.
sense that,
Good job, Andy, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just unfortunately, we just don't have the volunteers to sit on this board to bring back a recommendation to us, to put
Correct.
this into an easement and what the easement's going to say. So, the conservation, they have a lot of knowledge about easements and land use and land management, and so I just think that this is going to be a huge asset to get this project moving forward. Because I'd love to be able to go up here and hike and do just enjoy the property. But that's why I think this will be be good for the town.
great. Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
Anything else before we move on, or?
No,
Okay.
no, that's it for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, up next we have Police Chief, DWI and STEP grant signature. He has a grant.
So
And if
we
you just wanna-
received, the DWI, the STEP grant used to be two separate grants. It used to be the Safe Commute grant and the Speed grant
Right.
that we've received every year for, I think, the last 13. This year, they combined them last year, the Speed and the Safe Commute grant, call them the STEP grant now. So we can now decide where the enforcement is, whereas before the Speed grant was the Spalding Turnpike and its corridor, so a little bit of Route 75 and a little bit of 125. Safe Commute was anywhere we found that were having big problems during the morning commute and the evening commutes, but they were set dates by state police would pick the days. So we've received those grants again this year, and then DWI grant we've received as well.
Okay.
The STEP grant is $12,058.80, and the DWI patrol grant is $9,044.
Okay. Need
So
a
I
motion to
motion
accept?
from you guys to accept, and a motion for the chairman to sign.
What was the first one, 12,000 what?
$12,058.80.
Yeah, I'll make that motion for the police department to accept the grants. One for the $12,058.80 and the other one for $944 even,
$9,044.
or $9,044 even?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye. And for the chair to sign?
yes, I'll make a motion to have the chair sign it.
And I'll-
All in favor of that? Aye.
Sign and print. Then you'll have to do your initials at the
Right
bottom
there?
afterwards. Yep, right below mine. There's a ton of pages, so
Yeah.
I'll just leave it with you.
Okay.
And then print.
Yeah.
So, as you guys know, this allows us to hire our officers at time and a half rate, separate to their regular shifts. So it allows us to get an extra car on the road during peak times, during holiday weekends for the DWI patrols and things like that, and during the peak commute hours when we're having the dangerous driving issues. It allows us to do that without impacting taxpayer dollars or our overtime budget.
Nice. Good. It's awesome. I'm glad we got it again this year. I mean, it's been,
I'll continue to apply for it as long as they
yep.
give it to us, so.
And I'll initial these and I'll give them to Heather, or if you're gonna be around here in the meeting, grab them then.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Okay. Thanks, chief. Up next, we have, unfortunately, resignation of the deputy town clerk, Carol Martin. I'll read this. And is addressed to Michelle. It says, with great difficulty that I submit my resignation with my health issues. It doesn't seem fair to you for the office that I miss work to come in late. My last day will be December 31st, 2016. It has been wonderful working with you and Norma. I enjoy the work very much. This has been a very difficult decision for me to make. So,
Okay, with, again, like you said, Tom, with regret, I'll accept this resignation from Carol Martin. And bless her.
And I'll second it. And I just want to say that, you know, for everybody who knows Carol Martin, I'm sure, you know, probably 90% of the town does. She is going to be just so missed. She's been, you know, a great employee long before my time. You know, she just she's a huge asset to Michelle, and it's unfortunate that you know we have to you know accept the resignation. I'd like not to, but you know I wish her nothing but the best, and I just want to thank her for all her years of service.
no.
So thank you, Carol Martin, and I will second your motion, Mike.
Thank you.
All right.
All in
And,
favor?
well, hang on.
Aye.
Hang on. Wait a minute. I'll call for that first off, but I just want to add that, you know, Carol is a world of knowledge. I've known her for my 12 years being here, and that woman just, like Andy says, everybody knows her, but even more to the point, she knows everybody else. I mean, when somebody walks in their window, it's like coming home. I mean, they know her, and she's just part of the family. So we're all going to miss her.
She's made me very welcome in the short time I've been here, and
Yeah.
she's been very good about giving hugs. And it's really sad to see her go.
It's going to be very sad. We're all going to miss her. I mean, like I said, she's a world of knowledge as well. So
I remember she was one of the first people I met when I came here 26 years ago. Is she one of the longest standing employees?
she is. So,
Can you give her a plaque or do something special for her?
I think there's something cool.
Where's she at? No.
watching on TV. Thanks,
Oh,
Lynn.
thanks.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay, whatever.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we will miss her. Okay, up next on the agenda, we had updated donation report for the ball field. I just found out it's not updated, so we're going to have to go past that. This is not up to date. So we're going to have to skip over that one and hopefully grab that for the next meeting. So the last thing we have on the agenda, on the new business, is Mr. Turgeon for the TPPA. And basically wants to talk about the Eastern Naiad and their need for finances, correct?
I guess that's a good way
And
to
we have-
state it.
And we have, in the background, we have Mr. Baker.
Well, I'm Norm Turgeon. I am president of TPPA as of September. I'm also a past president of TPPA. It seems like that rotates from time to time. I'm also on the informal, and I call it informal because that's not a town committee. Lebanon Milton Committee of people assembled to help plan the battle against the European Naiad that was established last year. Tom is also on that committee. We don't meet too often. We've done
it's-
business through email and phone and stuff like that. But there are members there from Lebanon and members from Milton. But tonight I'm wearing my TPPA hat. And I want to brief you on where we've been and where we're going with
Okay.
respect to dealing with the European Naiad. I prepared a report which I will leave with you. I won't read it. I'll just go over some of the highlights
Okay.
and then get to the bottom line, which is a few recommendations. The report, the title of the report is a consideration for long-term control of the European Naiad on Milton Three Ponds. I made a similar presentation on the 24th of October to the Board of Lebanon Selectmen. It just happens that I was on their agenda because they were there to talk with Maine DEP about the use of herbicides.
Okay.
And I use that as an opportunity to discuss what I'm discussing with you. You all know the problem. The European Naiad, an invasive aquatic plant, was found on the northeast pond and in the river connecting the northeast to the depot. In August of 2015, it's a bad actor. It's an aggressive, invasive plant that, if left uncontrolled, could make the lake useless for boating, fishing, and swimming. I mean, because it grows so rapidly and leaves large, dense mats on the floor. It displaces all other natives, and so we have to get it under control. And and if we don't, there could be a significant reduction in the values of surrounding properties, the waterfront properties. Studies have shown reductions of 10 to 16% when lakes become impaired. And for the town of Milton, that represents about a $200,000 to $320,000 loss of property tax revenues. So that's a serious problem. Lebanon's a little less. In Lebanon, the potential loss is probably between $60,000 and $96,000. That's just the average tax rate. The average tax for the Milton waterfront property owners is quite a bit less than as of 2015. Now they just reassessed. They reassessed the waterfront property, so
That's right.
these numbers may change. They likely will change. But right now, about 24% of the loss of revenue, potential loss of revenue, could come from Lebanon, and 76% would be here in Milton. But when we look at the 2017 numbers, those ratios may be different. We had the committee put together an action plan, and we found that the Maine DEP, and that's Department of Environmental Protection, and New Hampshire DES, Environmental Services, both hired the contractors to do the activities to control the plant in 2016. So we didn't have to do that, and we didn't have to fund it. They had planned to use herbicides on a large, dense infestation on the northeast end of the northeast pond along the Lebanon shoreline up there. There's about 42 acres that we were going to be treating with herbicides with an estimate of about $10,000. But they had gone so far as to even get letters of consent from the towns of Somersworth and the towns of Berwick to allow them to use herbicides of the kind they were planning to use. And they had to get those consents because they used the Salmon Falls River as a source of drinking water.
Right.
But then they discovered that Lebanon has an ordinance that said it bans the use of herbicides, the spraying of herbicides, unless it's voted upon at a town meeting. And there was no time to do that. And so Maine DEP decided rather than to use herbicides, they're going to go after it with divers. Well, that was not a very successful. They spent $30,000 with divers assisted with suction harvesting machinery, working exclusively on this part. They spent 6 weeks, $30,000. $20,000 was paid for by Maine, $10,000 by New Hampshire, and only got about 40% of it. In the meantime, the plants, continued to grow in places where they were found last year, and in other places. This spreads easily. It makes a lot of seeds, a lot of fragments, and it spreads. And so we found it this year. Well, this is the map that we had last year. This is in the river, and there were scattered plants all around in here last year and in here. But this year we found it along here, almost all the way to Pleasant Point, or there's Pickerel Cove and Pleasant Point on the Lebanon side. And, yeah, we didn't find it, though, from there all the way to the dam. And then along this side, we didn't find it on the New Hampshire side, going from the dam upwards to about where Ray's Marina was. We didn't really find it up in there. We did find it along Micah Terrace on the Milton side of the Depot Pond and down around Rocky Point, some in there. None in Townhouse. And there was more in some of these shores, especially like Lakeside Drive. There was more there growing this year than there was. We didn't find any last year, and the house growing there. So, but I don't think we have too many other huge mother loads like we've got over here. Okay, and even back in here, we were able to get some DEP folks to come in and do some removal. So there was more removed than just up here, but that didn't use up any money. They did it, without this $30,000. So, anyways, what are we going to do next year? Well, the good news is that the Board of Selectmen on the 24th of October from Lebanon voted 2-1 to permit DEP to use herbicides starting in 2017.
Okay.
And the reason for that is they got an opinion that their ordinance didn't really apply to the method by which DEP was going to apply the herbicides. The ordinance, the language says it prohibits the spraying, the commercial spraying for non-agricultural reasons, and they were unable to find that the legislative intent was anything else. And so on that basis, the opinion of their attorney was that the application of herbicides in the manner prescribed by Maine DEP would not be contrary to the spirit and intent nor the literal provisions of that ordinance.
Okay.
So this in 2017, we're planning to use herbicides in dense populations. Maine is always reluctant to using herbicides. They try to do it as a last resort when it's absolutely necessary. And New Hampshire has no problem with it. New Hampshire supports the use of New Hampshire DES.
Right.
So the plan for next year in 2017 is to basically use herbicides in large dense areas and to use divers elsewhere. We want to be able to try to get at the entire shorelines and take out all the plants, all the scattered plants, fragments, clusters, bypass the dense areas and let the herbicides take care of the dense areas. Hopefully we'll be able to do a good job of getting rid of it, but that's going to cost some money. And we think it's going to cost $40,000 to run that show. If we had to use all divers, it would have been $80,000.
Right.
Now, where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to get the $40,000? Well, we're applying for grants. DPPA has already applied for a grant with New Hampshire DES. And when Maine announces its grants, we're going to apply for grants there. How much we're going to get, we don't know. You know, grants range all the way from $2,000 to $30,000. You know, the big lakes and, you know, get a lot more. But it's a competitive process. And to be successful, we have to, the local communities have to show that they're behind the project, and they're going to be willing to fund the project. So one of the things we're going to ask you to do, which I've already asked Maine, the board in Lebanon, is to create and issue a formal declaration of your intent.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A declaration of your intent, the Board of Selectmen in Milton's intent, to ask the townspeople to appropriate funds. The number is not specific in that declaration as I've drafted it, but to appropriate funds starting in 2017 for controlling invasive aquatic plants on Milton 3 ponds. And in that declaration sample that I've given you as part of the request for this, I stated that this declaration is made in anticipation that the Lebanon board will do the same for Lebanon, and that both boards will work together to come up with an agreement on the appropriate sums to be to come from Lebanon and from Milton.
Okay.
Now, when we look at the $40,000 estimate, assuming it's a good estimate, we think that TPPA can fund annually in the order of $6,000. Not $6,000
I like the
annually.
$6 million number better, Norman.
Huh?
I like the $6 million
Yeah, I
number
know.
better.
I wish we had. But we think, based on our contributions, the contributions of our members, that we could be providing $6,000 annually. We don't know what we're going to get for grants, but if we assume we get 5, that may be low. Hopefully we'll get more. That would leave $29,000 to be appropriated from the towns. Now, how much should come from Milton, how much should go from Lebanon, I don't know. We'd have to work that out. But if we use the 24% loss of revenue in Lebanon and the 76% loss of revenue in Milton, that would mean like $22,040 from Milton and $6,960. And I've got these numbers in this report.
Yeah, I got it.
And I got them in what I sent you as part of the request. Now, I think we need to calculate those numbers to find out if it's 2476 or it's 3565, you know, and that's something you're going to have to do, and maybe you can ask the committee to help you do that, because we can get the town.
Is this, you're looking for is this going to be an annual thing or a one-time?
Oh, this would be annual.
Until it's gone.
Now, until it's gone. Now,
Yeah.
you know, but we don't know.
Right.
We may hit it next year and do a real good job and get most of it out, but it's like dandelions, they're going to be back. Now, hopefully in 2018, they'll be less than they were in 2017. And it might go that direction. And we may get to a point where, for a lesser sum, we'll be able to manage it. We'll be able to manage it for less than $40,000. But we don't know.
So the herbicides that you're talking about, would those kill the plant?
Yeah, they kill it. They actually attach to the not to the root, but to the stems, to the plant itself, and
Right.
the plants die. But these are annual plants, and the seeds germinate every year, and the seeds are viable for several years.
Right.
So you kill the plants this year doesn't mean that the seeds that are in the ground aren't going to that are in the lake aren't going to
Gotcha.
replant. I always try to use the dandelion thing. You know,
Right.
you're always after those things, but if you can get to the point where they're under control, then it'll
Okay,
be
you
fine.
Andy's got a question.
Yes, Andy.
ahead.
Yeah, this year, both the state of New Hampshire and the state of Maine, we're anticipating on hitting, the European NIGAD really hard with, septic. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do it because, for whatever reasons, I won't, bring it up. But so there's no way, next year, now we have all our T's crossed and I's dotted. there's no way next year that they would, help us out where, they weren't able to do it this year because of, these,
Yeah, I understand your question. Your question is, since they were not terribly successful at removing it all, would they consider funding a larger part of the effort this year?
Yeah.
And all I can say to that is, I hope they will, but I don't know that they will.
Yeah.
The only thing they tell us is we have grants, apply for grants, and we will provide you what we can through the grant program.
okay,
Okay.
And we
thank you.
Now, I think that a declaration of support from the selectmen of intent would go a long way in helping us acquire the maximum grants
Right.
possible.
Right. And then once you acquire the grants, we would know what the remaining balance is, based on what number you gave us of 40,000.
Right, of course, if we got 12,000 in grants, that'd be an extra 7,000 that wouldn't have to come out of the town's appropriations.
Right.
But for budgeting, planning purposes and so forth, and I know this is all gonna have to be dealt with by the budget committee and so forth. and
Right.
We're prepared to give them whatever information they need. You probably gotta go with the numbers like only 5 until we know what they're gonna be. Now, I'm gonna add one more thing.
My suggestion on this is put it on a warrant article, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, you would put it on a warrant
Yeah,
article.
because,
what I was
yeah,
saying, yeah.
I was gonna say, try to put it in the budget, it's gonna overplay the budget, we're gonna lose the budget.
No,
So, yeah.
he's asking to ask the people.
Well, the warrant article would say, do you approve?
Right, correct.
Do you approve appropriating X dollars
Yep,
to
yep.
fight the plants? That's just asking for an appropriation, not a.
And the fact that without Milton Three Ponds, basically, there's no Milton.
I think
that
Dennis
I-
put it best, the Milton Three Ponds is the engine to this town.
Yep. So, I mean, I don't think there'd be a problem passing that if it goes on a warrant article.
Yeah, well, there's gonna have to be a lot of public education.
Oh, sure.
To let the townspeople know why it is they should
Yep.
appropriate it,
Yep.
And the argument is that, even if it's 22,000, it's still gonna be less than 1/10
Oh, of course.
of the loss of revenues.
It's
So
also,
we might be able to get, some revenue too, in boat fees, on the Milton side. We might be able to generate a little bit more revenue to put in a fund, maybe, I'd have to, bring it to the commission, but I'm just, throwing it out there. I could if you'd like to.
sure, if you wanna talk to them, sure.
Maybe, up the boat fees, a couple of dollars, and make that couple of dollars or $3 go directly to, the European night site.
Yeah, that's something that Bob Myrick, I think, has been talking to you about. And also Jeff Everett, at Everett's Cove Marina on the Lebanon side.
Yep.
A lot of boats go in there, and he would, I'm sure, would be willing to do something in kind. So if it was done in Milton, then he would, probably follow suit
Oh, nice.
and do it
Yep.
from the Lebanon side.
Okay, that's a help. But yeah, I have no problem whatsoever putting a declaration of, together, using your declaration. I think it's something that we have to protect our ponds, we have to.
I don't know what the guys in Lebanon have done with it yet. I'll call them up.
Okay,
It'll probably lie idle until they get nudged a little bit. They've got a lot of other things that they deal with.
right.
I'll stay out of this one.
I'd like to comment
Why,
if I-
wait, why are you gonna say it? Because all we're gonna say is Mike said.
Mike told us.
Yeah, yes, Steve.
Tom, I just want to add, because Norm mentioned that the 11 selectmen voted 2-1, and the one person who voted against it was not against the idea. It was an older fellow who has this thing about pesticides in any way, just didn't like the idea. He cited his
Right.
Silent Spring, which is a book written in the 60s, which is sort of a foundation for not using chemicals in any way. He says, I think we gotta do this, but I wish we didn't have to use chemicals. So
Yeah,
it was really unanimous. much of an argument there.
Right, I mean, and he's probably referring back to the old, sorry, Lynette, I haven't forgotten you. He's probably also referring back to, the old days of the DEET and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
So, yeah, Lynette,
It's, well, the question I was going to ask was similar to that, is on the education side of it, are we going to find out what percentage rate that there's going to be that we can, this chemical can destroy these plants and everything, and what time period? And if it affects anything around, as far as life-wise and other animals?
I think the impact of the herbicide is very, very low. It has no effect on the drinking water, has no effect on aquatic life there, or the fowl inside the lake.
And there's proven stats for all that?
Yes, and the application method is they actually take a hose down below and with
got three
guide
copies
or
here,
system,
but you want
basically
these, so.
dumps it right on top of this. The cell
Yeah.
has everything in the
Yeah,
water,
but
comes
there's
follows
three
away
copies,
from
yeah.
the hole.
But there's, you keep one, and you make copy
Throw it
yourself
out
as
in the
well.
water and hopefully it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right to
Yeah,
the-
make one for
So it's
Andy, and keep one
a
yourself.
direct
Yep,
hit type of thing, not something that's just loosely,
exactly.
okay,
Maine,
applied.
Maine DEP, the Invasive Aquatic Species Program, before they can apply it, they have to have a permit from Waste and Water Pollution Board
Sure.
or something, and there's only a certain number of herbicides that are permitted for use in main water bodies
Okay.
by them. This would be one of them. It happens to be called diquat dibromide. It's been used in many places, including reservoirs, drinking water reservoirs. It's not that you could go off and drink it, but I mean, in the quantities that they use, the parts, by the time it gets to Milton, to Berwick and Somersworth, it would be essentially
Used and everything,
undetectable.
yes.
Probably by the time it got to the dam, it might be undetectable
Mm-hmm.
in the concentrations that they plan to use. It's supposedly effective. In the article that I saw written by a Maine DEP marine biologist in trying to persuade Somersworth and Berwick, they said that they would use it on account of its minimal risk to fish, minimal risk to humans, minimal risk to drinking water. And these are based on EPA studies and stuff like that. So the science would suggest that the risks are very low to fish, and certainly lower than the risks inherent in leaving the thing unattended.
Oh, most certainly. We had something similar in San Diego
Yeah.
happen, and what they ended up having to do, the reservoir was completely drain it and burn the stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, someday we may have to resort to that. We know what we've seen this year as
Right.
far as the growth.
What's the percentage of it growing each year?
Well, there's gonna be more this year in places where it wasn't even found last year.
Mm-hmm.
But if we take it out, the question is now if we take it out, we hope there'll be less the next year. Now, I can tell you, based on my own experience in front of my house, that if I had, because my neighbor did it, we took out a whole bunch of plants in shallow, wadeable waters. We took out about 30 maybe gallons, in 5 gallon, whatever the drums are that they put them in. And we thought we had just about all cleared out on the sandy part there, and 2 weeks later there was a whole bunch more growing. So even if we take it out the one time, if we get every shoreline once, there's going to still be some growing, and it dies in October, Then the new seeds grow again. So what we're hoping is that if we get them out one time and we kill the big dense areas that produce the millions of seeds, that in the next year we'll have less. We don't know for sure. Now, you would think that somebody would know, but we've been unable to get the answers. This plant didn't come into the United States in 2015. It's been around since the 1930s, all over the eastern shore of the United States. we're the first water body, second water body in Maine, in New Hampshire to see it.
Fred had a question, Norm.
I know a little bit about spraying and plants and stuff, as you can imagine. Do they know when this plant goes to seed? And if they do, before it goes to seed, before that's when it's gotta be taken out.
Absolutely.
If you
Yeah,
let it go to seed,
yeah.
it's just spread.
It goes to seed,
Egg freezes over.
it starts going to seed
Right.
by about the third week of August, at least this year.
So this work's gotta be done probably.
It's gotta be done in a narrow window.
Right.
You gotta wait for the plants to be big enough to be able to see them and be able to take them out.
Amen, okay,
And then you can't go beyond the date where they start going to seed.
absolutely.
And so that probably gives you a 3-week window from sometime in late July to the third week of August. That's the plan.
I think Maine's talking about June and July of next year.
Probably
Yeah.
late June.
But this year we thought we were gonna be out there getting it out in early July, and we went out there and says, too small. Too small, too small, too small. It wasn't really until almost the 1st of August that they got the divers out there.
Well, at least you have somebody monitoring it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of the things that we were successful in doing this year is we got a lot of people that volunteered to be trained to be volunteer invasive aquatic plant surveyors. And we have people going out and looking, and we're tracking, and and trying to keep track of where it is and how much we got this year, and we'll see how it goes. This map here that was put out in October of 2015, we'll be putting out another one that will show us what's it look like this year compared to last year.
I would say this time next year, we'll have a lot more information on how successful we were, how much they cost.
During the summer, yeah.
Yeah.
And what the continuing dollars.
Who knows what we're going to find when we go over here? And they took
Yeah.
out 40% of it,
Yeah.
And it looked, according to the people who surveyed, it looked pretty clean. They did a pretty good job. You get 42 acres of this stuff, and you get these divers under there, and you pick out a few plants, and then you can't see.
Oh, sure, yeah.
This
You
is
start stirring stuff up. It's tough. Yep.
This is a tough job to do with divers. Almost impossible.
This declaration you're looking at from us,
Yeah.
you want this to you? Or,
Sure. If you would produce such a declaration,
yeah,
then and give it to us, we will include it as part of the package when when we apply for the grants. Since we've already applied for a grant in New Hampshire, we'd simply submit it as an additional document
okay.
for their consideration.
All right, we can do that. That's what I was saying. Mike?
Yeah.
You good?
Yep.
Andy, you good? With,
Oh, that's,
Yep.
I'm a huge supporter, and like you guys said, Milton Free Ponds is, a huge revenue for the town of Milton, for all townspeople. We'd be foolish not to, try to help out with TPPA. So I'm a huge supporter of whatever we can do to help out.
Awesome. Great.
Heather
Yep.
draft up a letter.
Well, I got this, they got a copy here, I'm just gonna use to Heather, and you can use that as a draft.
We use it as the template to work on.
Yeah, that's a template. You better choice of words, that's all.
Same thing.
It's pretty short, so you don't need it in machine readable form from me.
We're good.
You can.
Yep. Anything else, guys, or?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank for staying on top of this, I mean, because this is huge.
Yeah.
It really can be devastating to the town.
Someday, Tom, our committee will meet.
I kinda hope so.
That Steve Panish is on it.
Yeah.
In Lebanon, I'm not certain about Ben Thompson's role. He's been a pretty busy guy. No longer a selectman.
Right.
And I asked the selectmen to identify more people. They did come up with one lady. So we really only have Ruth Gutman, who's on commission, Conservation Commission, and she's just had a child. And then we've got. I still think Ben Thompson can.
I know
help.
he's probably interested. And
Yeah,
I'm sure
he's
he'll be
interested,
involved.
and we can bounce ideas off of him,
Yep.
and
Yep.
he can help.
He was on the steering committee, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd like to keep him on. He's a wealth. you know, he's an assessor, he
Mhm.
understands
Yep.
the tax business.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You help the elevator or?
Somebody will,
Okay.
whoever's got a key.
If not, just get ahead of speed and head for the stairs.
Larry.
Okay.
I'm still awake.
Huh?
No, no, no.
Okay.
I thought it was funny, I'm sorry.
I'm not even gonna comment, because I can get myself in trouble anyway, so I'll even comment, so. Up next on the old business, we have town permits. I asked this a while back, and we have them, a whole slew of them. And I just kind of want to review the permits and, you know, see if there's any changes that we think should be made or suggested. You know, there have been some issues without going into particulars, which I'm not going to do because I can't. There have been some issues, and there may be a way to avoid those by making some corrections to these permits or making some alterations to permits. So that's one of the reasons I asked to have the permits. You got a copy? I have a copy. Andy, you have a copy of all the permits?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, great. So if you could, in your leisure, and I know you got plenty of that now, review the permits and, you know, just mark them up. All right?
Okay, thank you. I will do so.
Thank you.
I can hardly wait.
I can sense your excitement.
Copy of the dilapidated buildings that Jason and Trey signed last week.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, on the permits,
Yes.
the biggest thing I think that I could see the biggest change that we could do that would help us the most would be a numbering system on them
Mm-hmm.
for each separate permit that's issued.
For tracking purposes, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It'd be the easiest way to track it. It just gets documented in a simple Excel sheet, and it can be tracked yearly. What type of permit, what number it was, who it went to,
Right.
whether they had to pay a fee for it or not.
The date it was issued. Yeah, just
It'd be a simple Excel sheet to create.
Yep.
And then each year, you wouldn't have to recreate the form. You just have to just carbon copy that for the next year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean that's a great suggestion. And like I said, I just want to look at it and see if there's any weak spots that maybe we can look at tightening up. And I'm talking permits across the town. You know, building permits, electrical permits, what have you. Okay, has this been sent out to them already?
He was working on that, that's all I know. He was gonna take care of it.
Okay, Brian was gonna take care of it.
Yep.
All right, we need to find out what's going on with this.
Okay.
This is concerning dilapidated buildings, and it's the state RSA, and it's, I'm not gonna read the whole letter unless the board wants me to, but it's basically concerning the property next to Cumberland Farms, and actions need to be taken.
I thought there was some changes on it, but were you familiar with what Brian was doing with it?
No, I'm afraid not. Some of the highlights are, in this case, that this would be a town-funded operation. First of all, there was a letter sent out, but the woman was deceased.
Right,
They had to rewrite the letter to the recording owner.
Right, that's this
Which
right
is
here.
the-
Right,
son.
right, so I'm just giving the history.
Yep.
And then, that being said, the consensus is that there's, for them to fund this, would be probably not
Prohibitive.
gonna happen, right, prohibitive, yeah.
so there's some
I
issues
mean, there would be
there.
a lien put against,
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it would be a lien to
yeah,
this. When you
right,
said
yeah.
town funded, you had me concerned, but it'd be definitely like a lien.
yeah, but
It'd be a
town
lien
would
to-
have to, spend the money to do that.
Basically, what's happened now is, I guess there's no chance of it falling down onto the park.
Oh, you got it chained up to a tree,
Right.
Yeah.
it's gonna fall. But it is getting pretty bad. I'd seen some work, there was some activity for a little while, and then it's all come to a stop.
I know Jim Sessler was involved with it. He said that it was needed to be handled under a different RSA. Brian was working on it, and that's kind of how it was left.
Right.
I think.
Brian was using
But I think that now it's handled differently.
which is this one here.
Mm-hmm. And that's why he signed
I
it.
think, quite frankly, my opinion, I don't know if the board will agree with me, it's just gone on way too long down there. And if we're to take action, we know what direction we're gonna be going with it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just gonna stay there until either the tree falls down or
The tree will pull it. Let me check with Brian.
We need to get this thing put to resolution. It's been dragging on for way too long.
Let's ask.
So we need to find out. I mean, the board had made a decision that
Do something.
the only way you're gonna do is put a time frame on it. You write a letter out to him, if he doesn't abide within the time frame, then the town would take action.
So let's say, ask Brian, what do you want for the time frame? 6 months? Is that what you're doing?
that's right in this. I'll read the letter because that's all addressed right here. It says, upon information presented by the Milton Code official, it has been determined by the Milton Board of Selectmen that the bond located on the property described above is collapsing and in such a state of disrepair that it cannot be repaired. The Board of Selectmen find that the bond is in danger of falling on a neighboring property, and therefore it is a hazard to others. Photographs of the bond are attached. And this is a letter addressed to the property owners. The 3 notices have been mailed to the property advising the occupants of the condition and ordering that the condition be abated, and there has been no response. The Board of Selectmen finds that the bond is beyond repair and that the only remedy is for the bond to be raised and debris removed from the property. Therefore, you are ordered to raise and remove the bond within 30 days of the date you were served with this order. Further, all debris is to be removed from the property and lawfully disposed of in a state New Hampshire approved landfill. If you fail to raise the bond and remove the debris as ordered within the time frame set forth above, the town will file a motion for a summary enforcement with the circuit court in Rochester. If you contest this order, you may file an answer within 20 days of the date of service pursuant to RSA 155B. And then in bold letters says, please note all costs, attorney fees, and expenses incurred by the town in bringing the property into compliance may be enforced as a lien against the property and any other property owned by you in the state of New Hampshire pursuant to RSA 155B92.
Mr. Chairman, what's the date that was
Well,
sent?
that's where we're gonna find out when this was. There's no date. The date was never filled out. We need to find out from
It was
code
signed a
enforcement.
while ago, but I don't know when Brian delivered it. I can't put it on his desk. So I need to check with Brian.
Yes.
I've been coming to the meeting for a while, and this has come up multiple times, and it seems like maybe on the town side, there's been some mistakes made, because that rule about buildings coming down is pretty, I thought it was pretty strict on what paperwork has to be filed at what times, and,
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
it
And
seems like maybe there was too many mistakes made on the town side of things, and maybe that should be addressed instead of the building, so in the future.
that has been addressed. That's why we got this. That's why we have this letter here from the town attorney, and basically, I believe in the past the wrong statute was trying to be enforced on this. So. So we need to find out when that letter was.
Served.
Yes. And it should have been served, if not in hand.
2 weeks ago.
Brian should have a log.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
we'll
should be.
find out.
Yeah.
I have an idea when it should have been, but
Yeah.
I'll find out.
All right, please do. Please find out, because we need to get this thing put to bed. Winter's coming. And my fear is you get a snow load on that roof.
It's not going anywhere outside that.
Well, that's,
Footprint.
there's weirder things that happen. You don't know if it could twist, it could do anything, so I mean,
Yeah, okay.
Especially in the same sense that we're talking about revitalization downtown too.
exactly,
That's an issue though.
Yeah.
so. So please find out on that immediate, tell me we want immediate action taken on that. If he hasn't done anything, he best have done something.
Need answers for the next meeting.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay. Up next under old business. Well, basically, we talked about discussion of boards and commission vacancies. Have we posted any vacancies on our sites or?
Well, since we're not gonna have a forest committee anymore, I think that gets rid of one about those commission vacancies.
It does.
I noticed there's a posting out there now for the budget committee.
Okay.
And we'll take down the one for the recording clerk.
Can you take out the one for
Yeah.
the quarter clerk now that we're pleased to have
Now we
it?
got that filled.
Thank
So-
you for joining us.
Introduce everybody to
Her name's Brenda, but.
Brenda.
Brenda, would you like
Thank
to
you.
Last name's not important.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, please do.
My name's Brenda Pabon.
We're delighted to have her.
Thank you.
Okay. Up next, expenditure report. Anything unusual or you want to talk about?
Where is it? I think Mike and I went over this quite a bit last week,
Okay.
and we were actually I think we were quite pleased when we went over it that we found out, we took out warrant articles, we were pretty much where we needed to be.
Okay.
This was as of the end of September, which was the most recent one that we could run, but when we took up for the warrant articles, we were where we needed to be.
Okay.
So,
So we're on target.
we're on target, we're a little low, which is what you would expect.
Yep. Yep.
For certain reasons this year, but we're in good shape.
All right. Good. Any comments on that? Andy, Mike? Expenditure report? Any comments, Andy?
I've been following them.
No, I think, we made some clarifications last week because, people thought that it was a little low, but, we have, our warrant articles, that have to come out of the budget still. And
Correct.
people didn't realize that, so I think, after I talked to Kim and she made, she ran it with the warrant articles, we're right on, right where we should be.
It's about 70%.
74, I think it is.
74 when you add everything back in, but
Yeah.
74%, depending on what you include and what you didn't include.
Good.
Which
Good.
for November is actually pretty good.
Pretty good. It's pretty real good. Okay. Administrative comments.
We're pretty much, after Jim's Sessler, our attorney's comments and back, we're pretty much wrapping up the cash receipts policy. I'm working on that. Kathy worked on typing in his comments this weekend, and I was going to meet with a few of the department heads this week that are directly involved. They'll be hearing from me, Chief, and then I will bring it forward to the board. You'll get an email of it. And going forward, hopefully we can get that implemented ASAP, because I think it's important we get that going.
Right, agreed.
Tom, may I intervene for just a second?
Sure.
So I was chatting with Heather,
Mhm.
and one of Heather's biggest frustration is having the time to work on the budget.
Yep.
So, one thing we're thinking about is purchasing a laptop for Heather, so she can work on things off-site.
Right.
I can hide.
Right. In that office, she's been the focal point coming in so late into the year. Well, the department
Yeah.
heads, us, and especially us, giving her workload, quite a workload. So I'd like to have the board consider a purchase of a laptop for Heather for just that purpose.
No, I mean, I'm totally on board you want to get a laptop. You know, I just don't want Heather to feel obligated that, you know, she has to bring her work home after working, you know, all day at the town hall. You know, I
Can we mute that
appreciate
guy?
everything she's
Yeah.
doing, and she's a hard worker, but I just don't want her to feel obligated that, you know, that she has to do this. I appreciate it though.
Make no mistake, and none of us
Yep.
bring our work home, right? So,
Right.
but Heather has actually requested this and the quiet time, so we figured this was the best possible way for Heather to work on this. And if you agree, I'd like to make the motion for a purchase for this laptop for Heather, which is limited on
Yeah.
information, just on budgets, and the cost is $259 for this laptop.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you're saying, Andy, and one of our previous administrators, occasionally, when they had to work on budgets, instead of coming in here in the morning and being bombarded with all these people, would just stay home and get the, you know, work on the budget. And that way they're not disturbed, they're not, so I mean, that's what I foresee is, you know, instead of you spending extra time, maybe take
Yeah.
a morning or something, and just sit home where you're quiet, if it is
Or even
quiet.
hide at the library, where's Betsy?
Oh,
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
hide at the library.
right,
We're actually
She'll-
not
she'll-
open on Mondays, you can hide in
yeah,
there.
but she'll have you checking out books.
yeah.
But I mean, it's you know, I think, okay, I'll go hide,
Yeah.
and then everybody's like, oh. But
Yeah, and I know it's difficult, extremely difficult, especially if you're in that position, and you're trying to do some work, and you're trying to be polite and cordial to everybody that shows up. It's hard to get anything done. So, I'm in favor of that. I mean, so we'll
Made
make
a
a motion.
motion, I hear we did.
Wait, before you do that, can I make
How quick can you do
add one thing, is that you get some kind of backup system, because if something goes wrong on your computer, you're gonna have all that information
I was gonna
going.
put it on a flash drive too. No?
Can you do something else? Is there a network you can log into here, or something like that, that she
When she
can?
comes into here, she can plug into our network here.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and when she says take a flashlight and plug it in, swap it back and forth. And
Yeah.
see it
Yeah,
here.
you
No,
know, the
it's-
size you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to make it mobile, the flash drive
Yeah.
or whatever.
I just worry about loss in between transit.
Yep, yep.
So we have a motion and a second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye,
you go Heather.
Thanks.
get it.
Okay. Another piece today I just wanted to tell you I worked on with, it was a pleasure. I was honored to be involved with the Voice of Democracy for the VFW essay contest. The superintendent and a group of volunteers were involved downstairs, and we read a bunch of 7th through 12th graders volunteers, and that was essays, and they were great. I was really impressed with the way the students write, and a lot of fun.
Right.
So that was
Awesome.
downstairs. And we heard oral presentations and the written, so that was an afternoon activity. I'm busy today though doing that. And then what else has been going on? The other question I have is, I think we need some clarification on committees, commissions, and who is able to call the town attorney and how we should be handling that. I guess it's been clarified in the past.
Yeah, we had a policy, and for some reason, we kind of drifted away from it, that anyone that wanted to talk to the town attorney would have to get either permission to the town administrator or the board of selectmen. And
Correct.
And because,
He
you know,
gets out.
thank God, you know, with the current town attorney, he's on a retainer. And one of the reasons we did this is previous town attorney was not a retainer, and we had a person that called him relentlessly. And before we know it, we saw an astronomical bill, and I said, wait a minute. So I think we need to go back to the policy that, you know, anybody that wants to talk to a town attorney should go through town administrator or board.
Agreed.
Mr. Brown, you had a question? Yes, Joe?
Tell the town attorney to refuse calls that have not been pre-cleared by the town administrator or selectman.
That's the second thing we're gonna do.
Yes, John?
Do I still have the approval to call Mr. Jim Sessler?
Check with Heather. I mean, she may have all the answers you're looking for.
Okay.
So-
I don't think so, but I will.
Yeah, check with Heather first, make sure that, because, you know, he's getting inundated with phone calls from various
Oh, there's
people.
no doubt. I
Yeah.
know that. Okay, if it comes down to that, we will probably notify Mr. Sessler not to call me either. Period.
Okay? But,
Yeah.
so I would say, yeah, just check with, you know, we have to get back to the policy, we have
Oh,
to
I
get this
understand
back
the
under
policy.
control. So,
Not that I agree with them, but I understand.
yep, thank you.
Final thing I have is we've been trying to get these budgets done, and anybody who does not have their budget in, please,
Yes.
please get them into me. Little groups that have them out, please get them into me. There are some groups that do not, and they may be small budgets. You may think they're inconsequential, but I really do need them in. I'm trying to finish up my budget and for different items, and I was trying to get them. And unfortunately, one of the biggest items in my budget is health insurance. Health insurance is looking like there may be a spike. We were hoping to have numbers by the end of this week, beginning of next, and now it doesn't look like I'll have them till the 15th. So we probably will not have the budget together, probably till the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that impacts when we'll be able to do some kind of budget preparation. So or a presentation, so I just need you to know that, but I really need anything else I can get
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
Speaking of health insurance, I believe, Andy, weren't you working on something?
Yes, I was just bringing up in my selectmen's comments,
Okay.
if,
Let's-
oh, that's all right with the chair.
All right, yeah, let's do that so we can stay on track here. And did you want to congratulate for the?
I do want to make a congratulation. It's always nice when our department heads and employees do a great job. And last week we had an audit. Michelle, our town clerk, had an audit by the Department of Safety and Motor Vehicles. And an audit was performed of the records of the municipal registration agent in the town of Milton. And she was found to be in great shape. All her scope of her records, internal review, test sample, everything we're in really good shape.
Yeah.
And it was test controls, everything. The agent is fully in compliance, applicable statutes, rules, and procedures. So we're in really good shape, and we really need to congratulate Michelle on this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen her
congratulations.
stress over it, I've seen her take it home, up here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No,
So,
she takes the job to heart. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. And so,
And the motion Andy is gonna make, I wanna say, I'm well aware of it, as are most department heads, and he is making it with the support of the department heads.
okay, let's move it to that. Chief?
On the budgets, as we've done in the past, we're getting, in my opinion, we're getting way too close to deadlines and when department heads start taking vacations. Thankfully, I'm not taking my hunting vacation in November this year, to be gone for 2 weeks, I'm taking it in December this year. So we keep pushing the date back when I'm gonna present my budget, or other department heads are gonna present our budget. We're gonna get too close to that December, January number. In the past, we've always, because we have to wait so long for health insurance and dental insurance, we've always presented the budget, and those numbers come in later on
Correct.
and do a singular
Correct.
presentation.
Correct.
So I would ask the board to start scheduling some dates now, so that either schedule dates now so we can start presenting to you, or schedule dates so we do a joint presentation between the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee. We do one presentation to both boards, and then we make our decision, you guys make your decisions.
Do you have your budget complete?
My budget is complete and ready to present.
This
Okay.
is good.
Okay. Mr. Brown?
But this is the the budget committee rearing its ugly head again. That what I'm concerned about in the structure of the budget committee and in the presentation of budgets is there was some discussion from someone at some point about it was going to be wonderful to do a line-by-line, basically a zero-based budget presentation. No, thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to
That-
hear you say that. That's my thought too.
Yeah, no, thank you. A zero-based budget is a wonderful exercise, but it is not going to give you a four-cylinder Ford Ranger when you are running a 550 four-wheel drive. I mean, you have basic expenses that will not change. What I'm most interested in is the outliers.
Right.
Those that are particularly high or low expense, and the trend line and the justification for that item. And there are people on the budget committee for good reason who will not be able to make a given meeting. No problem. Legally, we function with a quorum of 5. I am not unaware that Heather is our new town administrator, and I want her to have every chance to come up to speed and not be Liz Dion 2, who came on board with a budget folder of clear white paper to look at. So whatever we can do to work out those dates, Bob Carrier did it before and is an excellent resource for that. And I am shamelessly taking advantage of his good nature and telling him that in public so it will help me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you, Chief. We are running late. And I think everybody, all departments need to get their budgets in so we can at least plug them in so we know what our bottom line is gonna look like.
But I think if we at least chose some dates, because we never do it during your selectmen's meetings, we have to do special dates because
Correct, yeah.
the meetings would run till midnight. If we
Right.
can.
And not all of them to present, we usually have breakup between different meetings on different department heads.
Right.
So we can take the ones we have
But
and
we
have it
usually do
ready.
the big department head, we separate the 3 of us
Yes.
and do 3 different nights and
Yes.
put the smaller departments in with each of us.
I asked for a list of what was in, and I know this list is inaccurate, frankly, so I can't go by this. So,
All right, can you,
I can get you a list, accurate list tomorrow.
well, I want more than just a list of what's in. I want dates, like you were saying, and just basically give these departments that aren't even, if we need them in, we just say, you need to have this done by this date.
Just schedule the date, right?
It's
Just
gotta be
schedule the
done.
date, and that's the day they have to be there, that's the day they have to present their budget.
What day of the week do we usually do it?
That's, the selectmen
Yeah.
set those dates when they're available and this room is available.
I think, Bob, you have a list of budget committee dates too, don't you?
I do, but I
Yeah.
don't have any for the town. The school's already set, and all
Yeah.
the public hearings and everything's all set
Yeah.
according to the
Yeah.
statutes. But
Yeah.
Do you have a list of those so they know what wasn't used?
I had a list last year of department heads that would show up. It worked well because we didn't take too long running them. I put all those people, like the rec, like Karen Brown, everything she does, I put them in one night. And what I do is the 3 big budgets, I separate them, and I took
Right.
Pat Smith's, and I took his 3 departments.
There's 3 really large budgets.
Yeah,
Right.
those are, but I had it last year and it worked well. If we follow the rules that Mr. Brown just said, just give us the outliers and everything. Because if we go through the same whole budget, we're gonna be here for a while.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
I just made that copy, I gave him the copy in case he wanted to use it.
Bob, could you and I maybe sit down and talk tomorrow or something?
Might I suggest that when this cruel war is over, 9 a.m. Wednesday is when the cruel war is
Oh.
is over.
Like, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
You don't think we don't?
All right, can the both of you get with Heather? and
Absolutely.
Let's set up some dates. We gotta get this moving forward, 'cause we're gonna be sitting here having the same discussion in 2 weeks if we
I
don't.
can't do, yeah.
So, let's get some dates. Tell us what dates. Mike, the only day you're not available is what? Thursday?
Thursday
Thursday
nights,
nights.
yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
That's the only day he's not available, so.
Okay.
And any night, I'll make myself available.
Let's do it.
Okay? Very good.
I'm done.
You do? Selectmen's comments. Mr. Rawson, we'll start with you, because you're furthest away.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Tomorrow is election.
It is.
Yes, it is. Thank God. The elections are going to be held at the Assembly of God on Route 125 in Milton from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's our duty, it's our right, and I think everybody's vote counts this year. So let's get out and vote. The other thing I have is Karen is having basketball sign-ups at the Newt High School this coming Saturday. So if anybody wants to join the kids up for the rec basketball, it's this Saturday at the Newt High School. Usually it's a big turnout, so that's going to be this Saturday. The other thing I have is I want to bring to the board on health insurance. We did a buyback, and I think, we're going to be able to save some money there. And I think, the next thing we should look at is on our health insurance, on a plan, the town pays 100%. And
Right.
I think moving forward, everybody that's on the single plan now, I'm looking at they could be grandfathered in, but any new employees coming to the town of Milton, I think they should, pay, 20% of their single plan, like, employees have to do on your family and your dual plans. So that was what I wanted to bring up and bring to the board and get some of, if you have any ideas, or if, I would like to actually move forward, with this. I just think that it's the right thing to do. Any thoughts?
I think I agree with
Yeah.
Andy. In fact, what would it take? I mean, what do you think, Tom?
No, I agree. In fact, I've actually had this conversation in the past with department head, and, same thing, and I'd really hate to burden any current employees. That's why I say the grandfather thing is great.
Absolutely.
But anybody going forward, I mean, it's part of their condition of hire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they know this up front, so.
Yeah.
And if you want me to make a motion, I'd gladly do that if that's what you like to do.
Should make it as of December 1st or January 1st. Give me a date so I know.
January 1st?
January 1st, fine with me.
Yeah, let's do January 1st, because that, right now, if we try to do it right now, we're in the making budgets up, and so, why don't you give us a motion?
So my motion is any newly single hired folks that are employed by the town of Milton will have to pay 20% of their single health plan.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Andy.
And you're going to grandfather all current.
Yeah, grandfather all current.
And yes, and
You'll have-
any
Some language will have to be made up on it.
Well, I'm going to be meeting with the department heads about working on the personnel manual. This will become part of the personnel manual.
It'll be part of their condition of hire, that they understand that when they're
Yeah.
applied.
That's what, is it January 1st, you said?
Yeah.
As of January 1st.
Yep. Awesome.
and actually, I think that's all I got for tonight.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. One more time, you sure? You had to think about that.
Now I'm all set. Thank you.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, so we already talked about the Economic Development Committee and
Yep.
and their process. A budget, it says it right here, ongoing. So we've all watched the video of the last budget committee meeting, so I think some things need to be addressed at that meeting.
Yep.
When we get there.
Yep.
And I'll be bringing that to the board, the budget committee board.
Okay. Just kind of report back to us what.
Absolutely, yep.
Yep.
Everything else has been covered, to tell you the truth. We're actually in good shape.
Okay. That's
That would
it?
be all, yeah.
Okay, I just got a few things, again, the old fire station, have we made any steps to getting that appraised, or getting a value, or?
No, I know there's been some talk in town hall. We talked to the assessor one day, but that's about as far as we've gotten.
Because I know there is some interesting parties that are interested in purchasing the old fire station, but, you know, in fairness, I think we need to get it appraised and,
There was an interested party that lives in town, but that's all.
yeah,
I've
I
heard.
know there is, but I'm saying, we can't just say, here you go, buy this now, we have to get it appraised and come up with a value for it.
Okay.
So, if we can move forward and get a value on that, so we can actually, hopefully, once we turn the key on the new one, unload the old one. It'll help. Also, on the renewable energy incentives, there's a draft or a sample warrant article, I think, that was applied by, what was his name, Neil, Richard Neil? I forget his name. But anyways, we ought to see about getting a sample warrant article to put that on there, basically to give people a benefit if they use renewable energies. Agenda items. I'm just want to ask how it's going as far as filling out the request forms to be put on the agenda. I mean, I know I've been doing it. And have you?
Well,
You?
I gotta ask you, if the selectmen's asking the selectmen to put on the agenda, is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm-
the form.
The purpose of the
Because we
form.
can always, everything we talk about come under selectmen's comments.
Yeah, but no, not on the selectmen's comments. I'm saying if you got
I know
something
the
particular.
agenda form, right, I
On the
understand that
agenda.
right there, yeah.
If you got something you want to put on the agenda, it should be a form filled out so that if you have something in particular you want to put on the agenda, Andy and myself have an idea what it's about when we get here. So that's what I'm saying. That's what the purpose of the agenda forms are for. And that's why I think, we're asking the department heads to do it, we're asking the citizens to do it, we're asking the committees to do it. And I just think we need to lead by example and do it ourselves. And I mean, I've done it. It's not a big task. It just keeps everybody informed. So once we get here in these meetings, we know what's going on. Okay?
You think, Andy?
I mean, I understand, where Tom's coming from, and I guess I just, I apologize. I gotta get better at it. A lot of times I'm jotting stuff down through the day and on my little notepad when I'm just thinking about, what's going on in Milton. So, yeah, no, I apologize, and I will try to be more better at that, I guess. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. You too?
Yep, me too.
All right, awesome. Let's show them that we're going to do what we ask them to do. The next thing I wanted to bring up, I would have brought this up last month if I had been here. And New Hampshire Solar Gardens, I just wanted to announce that we received our first payment, our first lease for the transfer station Solar Garden in the amount of $10,757. So that was our first lease
Good job.
installment. So
Yeah,
kind of proud of that. I mean, that's an annual lease. That doesn't count the pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes. It doesn't count the savings on electricity or the rebates we're going to get from that. So this is just the lease on that parcel. So
Mr. Chairman, while you're talking about solar gardens, I know they're thinking about extending that. Where are we at with that?
the one for Lockhart Field is in the second phase. CMA is doing their evaluation of it, and they went through the first brownfield grant phase where they did an assessment. Doesn't appear that anything was found, but that information was turned over to CMA, the engineers, and now they're doing their thing with it.
I gotta say, I gotta thank you, Tom, for heading that one off. It's a big project. It worked out really well. In fact, I think, wouldn't you say that, I think there was some talk of it being the biggest solar garden in New Hampshire?
Correct. Right now, the existing solar garden is the largest in the state of New Hampshire. Not by a lot. We beat out Peterborough by 5%. So,
Doesn't
No.
matter, we made the map.
we made the map,
Yeah.
Way to go,
and
Matt.
once Lockhart Field is online, that's just gonna put us over the top.
Where's all this money going?
What's that?
Where's all that money going?
It's a revenue, into the general fund.
Okay.
It comes in as revenue. So, one of the things we need, we talk about helping offset the tax base, and one of the biggest, in my opinion, key ways of offsetting tax base is revenue. So if we can make, anything to bring in revenue like that, that's not gonna hurt the town.
That's great.
Yeah, it's. So I was kind of tickled on that one, that when I got the check, and like I said, I was all excited to talk about last month, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I was not here. The next thing I want to talk is about the tax rate itself. Thanks to all our department heads, the Board of Selectmen, a town administrator, bookkeepers, financial people, everybody got together and were able to get the tax rate dropped from last year by 20 cents. Not a huge amount of money, but it's heading in the right direction.
But judging between all of the options, say option 2, it's actually
Yeah.
more than 20 cents.
Yeah.
We had 3 options.
Yeah.
So, I got some charts here. I just print them all, if they want some, or last year,
It's a long time to see
2015.
that. That's really great, Tom, to see that one drop.
Yeah, it is, absolutely, I agree. Even though, like I said, it's just a small amount.
Yeah.
2015,
Can you put it on your site?
on the town website,
It is.
Yeah.
it should be on the site, I think it
on the
is.
website.
Oh, good. That's great. You got it.
2015, it was at $28.60 per thousand. This year, at $28.40 per thousand. So it was good news, and like I said, a lot of hard work by a lot of people, but we were able to pull it off, even with all the things that we had acquired. So, and I'm going to touch on the elections tomorrow. Andy touched on it earlier, and I appreciate that. At the Assembly of God Church tomorrow, downstairs, the tolls will be open at 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Hope everybody gets a chance to get out there and vote. We encourage everybody, please go out there and vote. If you haven't voted already by either absentee or early, I don't know, if New Hampshire doesn't have early voting, I don't believe.
I didn't think we did.
No, I don't believe so either.
Absentee.
Yeah, absentee. So, and another thing I just want to mention, and this is a lot of the Facebook thing that, and there's been some concerns about, what may or may not go on at the polls, as far as keeping an eye on it, making sure everybody's, if you see anything suspicious, please, anything that looks out of the ordinary, please bring it to someone's attention. Don't just, ignore it. And if you don't think it looks right, even if it's just something innocent, bring it to someone's attention. Make sure that it's that somebody knows about it. So just whatever it may be, if you don't feel comfortable with it, either one of us, moderator, anybody, bring it to someone's attention. So I got one other thing now. I just got actually a text when I was sitting here, and I'm going to ask Mike and see what his thoughts are. If not, I'll do it. I just got the text from Chris Jacobs. He needs some help tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock loading ballots to bring over to
I'm in.
At 7 o'clock? Okay, because I know he asked me to get Andy's phone number, but I know Andy's not going to do it.
Right.
And I
Should not do it.
I would take a stab at it, but I probably shouldn't be doing it. But if you're in,
I'm in.
you're the man. 7
7
o'clock,
I'll
be
be
here.
there. Yep.
We live right next door.
It's 7 o'clock.
And we're not supplying breakfast.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about donuts.
I'll get you guys donuts.
So. And that's all I have. But like I said, Chris is asking for help here tomorrow to load ballots. There's going to be a lot of them. Do have one more. Now I'm thinking about it. Then I'll get to you, Larry. I can feel you just vibrating and wanting to speak. This is a letter of thanks from Michelle, and basically, I'm going to read it. And so she wrote it to us. I would like to express my thanks and gratitude. Thanks. Let me start over. I would like to express my gratitude to the following people who took the time out of their busy day on November 3rd to help the tax office stuff tax bills, sewer bills, and transfer station notices. And I'm going to read the list of names. Carol Martin, Deputy Town Clerk. Noreen Nason, Police Department Secretary. Sean Donald, Transfer Station Secretary. Actually, she's the Public Works Secretary. Karen Brown, Recreation Director. Susan Henderson, Assessor. Dana Crosley, Land Use Clerk. Andrew Rawson, Selectman. Kate Thurston, Fire Department. Josh Byron, Fire Department. And Matt Walsh, Fire Department. Teamwork is always good. It's greatly appreciated. So she wanted to thank those people, and I would like to reiterate her thanks for that, to get those bills out.
Other towns who've bought machines to stuff ballots,
Yeah.
just the machine that stuffs them, not the service, they're $3,800. So that's a big cost savings. Yeah, I talked to
Yeah.
another town that bought the ballot stuffing. $3,800. So thank you.
Yep, so that's a huge help, showing again why Milton matters. Everybody gets involved and tries to help out. Okay, that's all I have. Public comments, Mr. Brown.
One, going back to your, the origin of the term sandbag comes from theater, when you used to raise and lower the curtains and the scenery on bags of
Counterbalance.
sand.
Counterbalance.
And you would wait up in the top, and someone would walk underneath you, and you would drop the sandbag on the unsuspecting person. And that's why it's nice to know agenda items ahead of time. But I have my own list that I was sitting here working on, and it is a list not of people who have been born, not of people who left this world, but people who are right here working on making this democracy work. You may recognize a few of the names. Andy Rawson, Mike Bolio, Tom Gray, Heather Thibodeau, Emily Thibodeau, Karen Brown, Robert Ferris Sr., Michelle Beauchamp, Bonnie Dunton, Annie Jose, Virginia Long, Steve Panish, Beth Roy, Agnes Carlson, Mary Current, Nancy Drew, Bruce Woodruff, Chris Jacobs, David King. And I just cannot say strongly enough, these are your friends and neighbors and the people who are doing the work that supports this election. You will not find any better people doing the work. And it is just, there is no rigged voting in this township. That is, for my money, a slap at the names that I just read off and described. We have the Reverend Wheaton for the Assembly of God Church, who has given over Fellowship Hall to be a civic voters hall. What you do is you bring ID, you bring courtesy, and you will find courtesy when you get here. And when you go out, you buy a cookie from homeschool kids. That's it.
Thank you, Larry Brown.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much.
Come on, you guys clap.
No, I didn't come to class.
Okay, anyone else? Public comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a reminder, if we could find somebody to make a cover for the, it's gonna be expensive if we have to get it fixed. I've fixed them before, it's expensive.
Can you, I know,
I can't sew.
huh?
I can't sew, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not asking you to sew. Can you see if we can find a cover for that? I know we asked our previous administrator, she had difficulty finding one, but see if you may have resources.
The cover for that piece?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Oh,
a
okay.
fabric.
Console, yeah.
If I could sew, I'd do it, but I can't sew.
Well, I have an idea I might be able to make it, but I just can't do it myself.
How
But
attached are
Aunt, you
you to
can
that
do it.
sweater?
Very.
No, I have an aunt who can sew.
Another thing that we're gonna have to eventually figure out, we've been recording meetings on this computer for about a year now. We have been streaming them live to YouTube, but they're also recorded on here. So if YouTube goes belly up or starts charging us, we got access to all the meetings. It's gonna get full.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We gotta figure out what we're gonna do.
Can it be stored on like a flash
Oh,
drive?
it absolutely could, but we need to do it, or DVDs, put them in the library. But it doesn't have a DVD player, so we got it. And it's a Mac. I don't know anything about
Mac.
Macintoshes.
Yeah, I don't either.
If it was a regular
Actually, no,
computer.
Mac's better than I know. Well,
Can you
Teachers
put
use
an
maps.
external on it, Tom?
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna
it's
say,
just
We
gonna-
could, but
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything
I just
about
bought
buying external Mac,
I just bought a 6.
external drives for Macintoshes, so.
For Matt? He just bought one for Matt?
Yeah, external drives are cheap.
Oh, there we got somebody we can talk to about where to get a drive for it. But that's what I would recommend is getting DVD,
That's fine.
external DVD players,
Yeah.
and 50 DVD ROMs, and an archive and put them in the library.
I don't know, the way I heard it, we just had a volunteer to buy us an external drive.
Whoa!
Because if you give me the money to do it, I'll buy it for you.
If he buys it,
It's all
I'll put the
wording.
meetings on the disc.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, you had one more comment you wanna make, you said.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are you done? You guys done? So, the reason I didn't bring it forward before, but just to let everybody know, I didn't get a copy of the latest WEX program
Okay,
savings. The last time it was over $10,000, so I don't know where it is up to date.
I was told it wasn't ready the other day.
Yeah, well, it just wasn't ready, yeah. So, and the other thing is, I haven't talked to the chief yet, fire station, about making or having this, it's a nice building. They're painting now.
mhm.
And they're right on schedule. I'd like to see this be a safe station too. Do you know what that is?
You wanna tell us?
In the event of a catastrophe, a place for people to go. But I have to work that out with the chief on what it would take to make that happen. That's an idea that I'd like to see happen with the Brandon station.
I think you should.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's probably even he has that in mind, but something that I can bring back to the board after I talk to Nick.
All right.
Okay?
I have a comment.
The fire department would be the emergency management location,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I don't believe it can be the VA shelter at the same time as it's the emergency management location. So the shelter here for town, I believe, is the high school.
Right, I've seen other towns use the fire station.
But the other towns don't have the emergency
Yeah.
management run out of the fire station.
Right. Or maybe push it. I'll talk with Nick about it.
All right, yeah, is there a reason why you can't have both in the same building? Just curious, I don't know, this one.
I don't know that you can't, but
Yeah.
normally the emergency management is something that is a little bit separate from where you're gonna be housing people who need shelter and things like that.
Again, talking with Nick, he
Yep.
would probably be up to speed on all of that. I'd certainly like to see that happen there.
If it can.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Anyone else? Not hearing anybody. I'm going to close the public comments. Any other business?
Oh, I have one question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's too late now.
Oh. Oh, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
When wintertime comes around, and we have a lot of people that are homeless and living in the woods and things like that, what do we do about that?
Go ahead. You.
Okay, there's a couple things we can do about that. First off, New Hampshire 211 has a program for that. Second, we coordinate with the town welfare director. And there's a homeless advocate who goes out and looks into providing services for that. There are a percentage of the population who, no matter what you do, will not accept services that are offered to them. But we have New Hampshire 211, we have town welfare, and we have a homeless advocate. So we try to make
And where do they
services.
take them?
This homeless shelters around. I mean, we had a gentleman come the other day.
What are these homeless shelters?
They're all
Closest
throughout the
winter one
state.
is in Rochester.
Is
The
it
closest one is
Rochester?
through Rochester, but I mean, it depends if that one is filled. The other day, I had a gentleman come in. I mean, obviously, those type of things are confidential, but I had a gentleman come in the other day. It happened to be our welfare director was off, and you have to know who the individual is. But if the individual needs a shelter that allows somebody to be drinking, there are certain shelters that allow that. So I made a call to that shelter and tried to set that individual up for that place, and the individual chose not to go, would rather stay outside. So you have to offer the services. It's kind of like you make the offer, they choose not to go. There's not a lot you can do.
Oh, I know that part, yeah. What do we use that building for?
I'll go over
One that was donated, what was it, the old townhouse or something
the
like that?
physical
The townhouse building by the police department?
deputy.
Yeah.
Do you want to
What
do
do we
a
use
public?
that for?
it's being renovated so that you
It's actually
can
kind
have
of
different things there,
Yeah,
different
pub-
functions there.
Can we use
I mean,
that?
is there a need to, or is it?
I don't
No.
believe it
Have you
has,
seen it?
doesn't
I haven't looked at it.
well, it doesn't have heat for that, right?
Get a chop.
No, it doesn't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Or-
it's electricity, right?
It's not
It's
really
not,
ready anyway.
it's not
There's no
built for something
bathroom
like that,
facilities.
no,
It's
yeah.
not,
And
yeah.
there would be fire and life and safety code that we'd have to look into before we could just house people like that. That's more of a complex issue before you could just put people there, and then you'd have to actually have people in there to monitor what was going on.
The closest one we have that, in the Rochester one is seasonal.
Yeah.
The closest one after that, I believe, is Portsmouth.
So if somebody wants to go there or something, is there some kind of, is somebody pick them up if they don't have a car?
It depends on whether or not
sorry.
they can, it depends on whether or not they can actually get into the shelters. Sometimes we'll help them with the phone calls to see if there's a shelter available. If it's the Rochester shelter and my officers, one or two, if we have two people on, we will give them a ride. If we don't have two officers on, there's only one officer covering. If they're clear, they'll help get them there. If not, we can assist them in at least contacting a taxi to get them down there.
Yeah.
But we don't have the means to, we don't have the means set up to find a taxi or things like that.
And town welfare and homeless advocacy can work with them on that. But there are support services in place. But again, the individual has to be willing to accept the services offered. And that, believe me, as someone who's worked in that field for a long time, that's the biggest battle you face.
Tom?
Yes.
I have, I just wanted to bring up, was everybody down there talking?
Go ahead. Yeah, we're all here.
I just wanted to bring up, the fire station. I was just thinking that, I thought we were gonna ask Cubby, is she still on the Economic Development Committee?
She is.
Do you think that she could,
Give us
she's
an
a realtor,
assessment.
right? I mean.
Yeah, she's a realtor.
Cause, what I was thinking about too was, next year I was, hoping that we were gonna be able to do another auction, a town auction on some properties. And I didn't know, if you wanted to go that avenue with the fire station.
I did talk to her last week, and I mentioned that to her. She also did mention about her hectic schedule, but didn't throw it out. So maybe she'll get back to us. She said she just couldn't handle it right now.
I was told that we don't have enough properties, but
Yeah.
I looked into that last week.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any other folks in town that could, give us, some sort of idea what the fire station might be worth? I'm just trying to think.
Can I ask the assessor again?
Yeah, but usually assessing and fair market value are always two different
different
prices.
factors. But I think we
exactly.
start-
They are.
We can have a commercial realtor look at it.
Yeah, it's not gonna cost anything.
I know there's an appraiser that lives in town.
Yeah, covered.
No, not Cubby.
No?
No, we
No.
have somebody else.
Yep.
No, I was just throwing that out there. I didn't know.
And
if you
I'll shoot
wanted
her an email to see if she's interested in appraising it for.
It'd be nice to figure out what it's worth, but I didn't know if you wanted to, hopefully next year we were going to be able to do another, town auction on some properties. I know we do have 6 today, but let's move forward next year, we'll have more. I just didn't know if you wanted to go that avenue or not. Something to think about.
Yeah, it is something to think about. I mean, whereas we, usually when you auction it, it's for tax purposes and, back old taxes that we've taken the property for, and I'm not sure we want to wait on this piece of property. I mean, I'll say we shouldn't, but typically when it comes to auction time, we really don't get the value of what the property is worth. So that's why I want to say if we're going to get this appraised, where it is a semi-usable building, and is actually owned by the town.
It's a great location.
It's a beautiful location, yep.
The building of course needs work, but it's a great location, and I just not going to give it away. So
Right, and that's one of the things we got to think about with an auction. And we made out very well last time we had an auction. We had a lot of properties, but a lot of properties went pretty cheap. Just the nature of an auction. So,
okay.
all right, and I will shoot an email. I do know someone that lives in town who is an appraiser, and I will shoot an email to. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I will shoot an email and see if they're interested in doing an appraisal on it. For the benefit of the town.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks, Tom.
All right. Anyone else before we slam a shut?
Well, you go to the non-public?
I think we're good.
We did already.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You missed it.
No, I thought you was on comments for people, on that public comment check.
Well, you came in late, but if you got a public comment, I'll let you speak.
Well, I got a question to ask you. Can you tell me how much, you just set your tax rate?
Correct.
Correct. How much money did you get from the school? And when you get that money from the school, does it go into your fund balance or surplus?
It goes into the fund balance.
Okay. Do you have any idea what the school just gave you back this year?
I don't have that number right here.
$389,000 from the school. Okay. Now, did you use that money to lower your tax rate?
If it went into the fund balance, we use part of that money, yes.
So you lowered your tax rate by $770,000.
Correct.
Is that
We used
not right?
$770,000.
So you used $389,000 of the school money that they gave back to you. What I find upsetting is on Facebook is people are going around and saying, there goes the school again, they're up and the town is down. If you had not used our $389 towards your $770 to lower the tax rate, your tax rate, your individual tax rate would have been $2 more. Is that not right for the public?
I'd have to look at it. I don't have those numbers right here.
About $360,000 makes $1 per thousand increase on your tax rate. I find that upsetting when I hear on Facebook that people from up there are going out and telling people, there goes the school again. They got the higher tax rate.
You see me say any of that.
Oh, yes, it has been. Please go on Facebook. I got it tonight.
I'm saying you have not seen me.
I didn't
say
say you.
Yeah,
I
but you said up there.
Okay, I didn't say Tom Gray. I find that very disturbing because we gave back, I'll say it again, $389,000, and you took that money and lowered your portion of your taxes for the town people. That upsets me. Because that's what happened last year. We gave money back, and you used that money last year to bring down your tax rate. Again, for you individually.
Okay. It's the residents' tax rate, not our tax rate.
Wait, but you're using that money.
The school. One thing, as you gotta understand, and I'm sure you do, the school has no mechanism for collecting taxes. That's why it goes through the.
But you took that money and used it, and you're taking credit, saying the school is up and the town is down, which technically that is not true. Is that not right?
Is that something that you read on Facebook? We're just sometimes even more people posting on Facebook things that are facts that are not
Somebody
true.
that doesn't answer on the Facebook.
Pardon me?
But people needs to realize that the school was down. We gave back a lot of money this year.
Yeah.
Okay, but I find it.
So put that on Facebook.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't go on Facebook.
With all due respect, if you have a problem with what people say on Facebook, you should answer.
No, I won't get on Facebook and get involved. I'll come right here and say what I think is true. I won't get drunk.
These people aren't Facebook.
Yeah,
What?
that's not fair.
Yeah, but no, I know some people from that board up there are saying things they shouldn't be saying.
What board?
Your board.
Because we're using the word town and not including the school?
Well.
But you're taking the contents of Facebook and blaming the town for it.
No, you're saying we're up and you're down. The reason you're down is because they gave it.
Who told you that? We never said that the school was up and we were down.
Okay, all right. I just want that to be clear.
Okay. First off, there is no we, is no them. It's the town as a whole.
That's what I'm
Seriously,
getting at.
it's the town as a whole.
I want to work
The
as a
school-
group. but
Oh,
I
of
find
course,
that
the school's
extremely-
part of the town. It's all part of the town. So
I think in the whole, I think the whole town has done good this year. School, the town. I mean, I think that everybody, all the department heads, I think we just all have done a good job this year to lower the tax rate. I think the school board is doing a great job.
Did you put that in the paper?
And it just goes back to, you know, the
On what paper you
Facebook,
talking
but,
about?
you know,
Same
it's
way you put that-
unfortunate, but I
that
just think that
statement for
everybody's
the,
done a good job
Press
this year.
release. Let's talk about the press release.
Yeah.
Well, we did the press release
But
just.
you didn't, in your press release, you did not say that the school gave you back $389,000.
No, we
Not that
didn't.
we mention
You
how
did
much
not.
each department gave back either.
Right.
We didn't go by each department either, honestly.
Yeah, you don't break, it's,
I didn't look at it individually. I looked at it, I guess I looked at
It's a
it as
group,
one
huh?
town, one
right,
community.
it's
Yeah.
I'm
one
sorry.
group. I mean, the school could be considered a department within the town.
And that's
So
kinda
what's to
how I
take that
looked at
money
it.
and put toward the school's tax rate and lower it by that much, because I'm sure the people would be really.
If you go into the DRA
If the
website,
school had a mechanism for collecting the money,
I
they could do that.
understand. I've been there, Tom.
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying, I know you know this.
if you go into the DRA website, they break it out by school, town, county, state. So
Yes.
that's how it's broken out. It's not that, you know, I didn't look at it or they didn't. Nobody looks at it. We all look at it as we're in the same boat. It's the town.
If you do a news release next year, it would be nice
You know, I
if you
think
could
the
say
school,
that news
I think the
release,
school
the
did
school
a great
gave
job
back
too this year
at a
because
certain amount.
you actually gave back a lot more this year, the school did, than you did in previous years. So, you know, I again want to thank you, Doug, for you and for the school board for doing such a great job.
Doug, I think we have a good working relationship. Earl and I meet on a regular basis, and I'll be more cognizant of that next year.
I appreciate that.
I mean, I think we enjoy meeting every couple of weeks. We try to work together very closely, and I think it's important.
I'm gonna tell you on it, I like to see what's being done in the town. We got a new fire station, Parks and Recreation's doing a wonderful job. MES ball field, the playground, and we're trying to do a lot at the school, and we're trying to keep our tax rate down.
Well, I think there was some discussion about having some for school join our meetings too, right?
Mhm.
That would be a perfect opportunity for the school to speak up in front of, yeah, let this recording be testimony of what the
I
school
just
dad
testified.
gave back.
Earl has said that he'd be happy to come to my department head meetings. When we've met, he said he'd be happy to come. So, I mean, I think there's been a lot of talk about working together. So I think that we will consider.
Vice versa, I think, too.
Yeah. So
Tom
there's,
volunteered for that.
And Facebook
What?
can sometimes just be
no,
a
he's
lot of
asked me to come.
gossip and stuff.
I don't do Facebook.
No, I
But
think
these
this.
people are, and that's who you're upset with.
No, I'm upset what's being said on it, so it has to come from somewhere.
What's being said on Facebook is just negative sometimes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's a lot
Thank
of
you, Doug.
collaboration that's positive.
Anyone else? Okay, how about the motion?
Make a motion to
Make
it.
a motion to adjourn.
Second, quick.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
So what's really wrong with Andy?
He fell and he hurt his back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, you can't.
Yeah. He broke his, he
Say
broke.
that. You can't say that.
Why?
Kibble.
HIPAA.
Oh.
I'm sorry, never mind.
Yeah, well.